June is the first month that the bass fishing just gets absolutely red hot with summertime temperatures all across the nation. Over the last 20 years, we've definitely seen big trends in what our customers purchase and buy, and that gives us some really good insight as to what techniques are going to be super hot for the month of June. Tune in now, check it out, and let's go on ahead and talk about the 3 biggest techniques that we see being used in June. All right, so let's dive into this and talk about one of our top presentations for June that we see customers using, and that is the big worm or a big jig. It's old school as it gets. It's getting down, it's dragging on the bottom, and it's targeting those fish that are holding close to the bottom. Maybe they're laying on the bottom. They're down in that cooler water. They're getting away from that hot water at the top of the water column. They're going to be targeting, structure, rocks, brush, that type of thing. So the perfect rods for these is your Zolo Dragger, your Oxum Smoker. They're both 7'4", 7'5", heavy powered fast action rods. A big worm like this from 5 Bass Tackle, the 10-inch Big Cuz. Awesome summertime worm. Got them in several different colors, but it's got that big curl tail on it, and it gets down there. See this used a lot at night. Paired up with that Oxum Smoker is one of my favorite nighttime setups, especially if you can find lights. But even in the daytime, fish are probably going to have moved back out. They're going to be offshore a little deeper. They're going to be on points, and then in the night, the lights are going to turn on and bring the bait in and pull those fish up. Again, then you could pitch, you can throw up around shoreline structure, and with both of those rods, that Zolo Dragger and that Oxum Smoker. All right, the number 2 most popular technique that we see used in June across the country is a weightless stick bait. Something like a 5 Bass Tackle sway stick. You're going to be targeting things that are more structure related, docks, vegetation, blowdowns, that type of thing. And what you're doing is you're targeting those fish that are hanging out on shade lines. They're sitting in the cooler weather. They might be on a windblown bank, so that that bait is pushing up in there, and it's going to be a slower presentation. It's a slow fall. You're skipping it up, or you're tossing it up there and letting it fall and taking the time to get down to those fish. I know our Elite Series Pro Jake Whitaker is a huge fan of a stick bait at this time of the year, and his go-to rod is the Ico Soul 7. If you want something with a little more tip, the Zolo Maestro. It's a 7-footer, and it's an absolutely great rod for skipping. That's the rod I like to use. I also like to use the Zolo Spin Skip. The Oxum Trimmer is another good option. Really, in all reality, any kind of general multi-purpose 6'10" to 7-foot type spinning rod is really going to be great for targeting docks, getting up on the back of the docks, and getting around those shade lines with some kind of a stick bait. The third most popular technique that we see in June across the country, again, this is after 20 years of selling rods to tournament anglers, is that drop shot. It's a precision finesse technique. You're going to be able to get down to fish that are way down there hanging out at that thermocline. You can spot them on your electronics, pull it, get down there to them, tops of brush, tops of flooded trees, in the trees, that type of thing. You can really get down and target those fish that are just hanging out at that perfect location where the temperature and the oxygen content in the water is just right. Because remember, in June, oxygen content in the water becomes an issue, because especially in your southern states, you really start seeing those water temperatures heat up, and oxygen content in your surface column really starts to suffer a little bit. So, again, those cool nights will bring in more oxygen, more air, and that into your water and help bring your fish up. But when it gets into June and we're hitting those 90+ degree days, water quality is a really big issue. The other thing, so with drop shot, Zolo Diplomat, Oxum Drop Top, Enox Charmer, all of those rods are really designed specifically for drop shotting. There's a lot of other rods. Our Zolo Trickster, it's another good option if you don't know that you'll be drop shotting all the time. It's a good it's a good alternative rod that lets you do other things. It's a good multi-purpose kind of rod. The other thing to remember, the ALX RODS tip for summer is don't forget your ice. ice your live wells down. That water in those live wells, it really gets hot. The sun's baking on the lid, and it gets a lot hotter than what you think about. So don't forget your ice in your fish care. This time of the year, that gets really, really super important. So be sure to pay attention to that. If you have any questions, you need anything, we've been providing tournament anglers the right sticks for a long time. So reach out to us. We're always here during normal business hours. Give us a call, drop us an email, and we're happy to help you figure out exactly what rod you need for the technique that you're using today.